Eliminate the workplace excuse. That's what leaders do. This is the Career Blindspot podcast. Today's CBQ. Why did Courtney turn into a picture? No. Today's real CBQ is a solo, different episode. I'm kind of doing on the fly. We're in a transition period. So here it is what would it take for you to give yourself proper rest? I could spin that a couple different ways to a staycation, a retreat, whatever you want to call it. So I'm here in downtown Phoenix Hotel, which is a little, don't judge a book by its cover. Older hotel. I was a kid. I drove by it many times. A little sketchy area, a street called Buren, which today in 2026 is very different than what it used to be. It's flipped. It's very cozy, clearly hipster art. And my wife, Courtney, my occasional co-host on this podcast, got it for me for my birthday. And I was really quick to be like, you should go, not me, for whatever reasons. But I'm a big proponent of rest, and she didn't have to bend my arm, although I did try to give her the opportunity. It's funny because I slept in here 2 nights, and I'm like maybe 3 miles down the road from my home. I'm actually going to ride my bike home because it's triple digits, and it's only going to get hotter, so I want to enjoy the weather as this comes to an end. But I probably didn't sleep the best on this trip, but I am so glad it was a gift. I'm so glad I accepted it because there's nothing that replaces giving yourself space, and you don't need a bed to fully rest. Very often we can't rest in a bed, but that's because of a million other things. We've talked about sleeping and quality between our kids, ourselves, and some of my friends who are a little more pithy or sarcastic, or dare I say unoriginal, is, oh, so I just should sleep more. Well, yeah, or be kinder to yourself and try to improve the quality, but not just because. I know you're deserving of it. I know I'm deserving of it, but I'm also quick to be like, nah, I don't need to. Yeah, it's my birthday, but you, like, what is that about us to be what we think is humble, but I think it's actually insecurity. When someone cuts you off in traffic, or one of your family members or friends is anything less than effective or clear and standing on their values, you wish they took the time to reflect, maybe go to therapy, but probably like a nap would be a good start, or eat a snack, you're hangry. And yet, how often do we give ourselves truly regenerative rest? It's one thing, I was burning out my phone yesterday as I was walking around the city and just taking it in. And the battery, I think I was tethering, that's an old term, but what do you call it? Wi-Fi, using my phone and my iPad. And it was draining so fast, and it took me a while to realize what was going on. The battery had heated up. So I was like, you know what? I was trying to listen to my AirPods and still thinking the battery should be charging because I plugged it in, right? I realized, no, I need to give this thing a break. At home, I would put it in the freezer to let it cool off. But letting it stop burning so much energy is one thing. Plugging it back in is another thing. And then I was plugging it back in while I was still trying to, I think, upload videos, all these other things. So bring it back to me in this bed and this woman behind me, which is just art. Wanted to get the clicks to get people's attention, but I have loved and cherished every minute of this trip, and I've maybe not broken the rule, actually, maybe doubled down. My wife was like, don't check in. You don't need to check in. Do what you want, blah, blah, blah. And no, not blah, blah, blah. Really important. And so yesterday I was like, I want to go to lunch with you and our daughter if you're around, because again, I'm right down the street. And we did, and it was wonderful. And I did a lot of other things, and all the things I set out to do, I probably didn't make the time for. I was spazzy. I let my kind of ADHD run around butt naked and made a lot of lists, watched probably too much YouTube, but enjoyed it, didn't shame myself. Guilty pleasures, no, they were just pleasures. And I know when I get back home, we have a 1-year-old, a 3-year-old who I'm going to take to get a haircut. All this stuff is fun and wonderful, but it's not the same as what I have at this precious point in time, the last 48 hours roughly. This is what I would hope my friends do, my clients do. I can't tell you how many clients have expressed when we're around the age of 40 something, but I think this is applicable to anyone who's ever been ambitious, but also overwhelmed. And you have parents who worked hard for you and your siblings or whatever it was, but you also wish, as hard as they worked, you wish they treated themselves and went on more vacations or took more breaks. And as any heartwarming Disney ad or mental health commercial is like, the kids, we don't remember our parents the things that they want us to remember. We remember the thing more, their presence and whatnot. But also, you can be somewhere and be in a horrible mood. The first day, I'll leave the details out, but I was having a great day, and then I ate some not so great tacos. They weren't terrible, but they hit me later on. I was able to overcome and still enjoy the rest of the evening, and I went to dinner with another buddy. But the point being that to be present, to be somewhere physically is huge. I think that's what 99% of success is showing up or whatever the thing. But also to be present mindfully is less of a push and it's more of a release. I call it more of a detox. Spiritually or religiously is Jesus take the wheel, or forgive them, they know not what they do, or look up any other spiritual leader that you admire, and there's something in there about letting go. But it's not will, it's release. Like when you go to sleep, you're not, I'm out. That's why so many of us struggle to do it, myself included. And we can exhaust ourselves and conk out. I fell asleep watching some shows, streaming shows I was catching up on, which is not my preference to normally do. I'm familiar with the blue light and all the other stuff, but I'm like, I'm going to do it this time because for whatever reason, I was like, wow, I have not stayed up this late for a lot of different reasons, but mainly I'll blame my kids. I kind of missed it and it was fun. And I read books. I read a lot of comic books that I do anyway, but I really savored it because usually it's like I get to do one and then it's a couple days until I do the other. And I'll go back to all the things I set out to do. I really didn't stick to. I changed my mind. I saw my wife, my daughter. Actually, they just came and I forgot a cord to record one of these. And I didn't plan on doing work, but I'm like, I like my work. I like reaching out to people. So for me to take a staycation, a rest, almost felt like, no, I'm more than covered. But flashback to our IVF era, those of you who've been following along us and know us more personally, Courtney and I, that was my biggest mistake, was thinking, this is hard for her. I'm fine. I'm not getting the needles, the hormones. And that's not true. If you have a loved one who is sick, you're going through that too, albeit differently. But to undermine that if you want to show up as your best, you need rest. Olympians, not just champions, but dynasties, repeat. I guarantee they rest at a superior level than most of us. And so it's not about being the best, but it is about, don't be a fake humble about not resting. In fact, I think that's insecurity. If you are going to allow yourself to enjoy whatever it is, even if you don't have kids or if you chose not to, respect. But whatever it is you're doing, a movie, food, staring at the wall, I don't give a shit, man. Be there for it and enjoy it. And if you can't, you probably need a nap. And that's the simple today's call to action. Doesn't need to be on a bed. Maybe go under a tree, assuming your city's not melting like ours. But I hope you rest. You're going to need it anyway. Your body's going to tell you to tap out. But quality rest, that's the skill. You deserve it. I'll see you for the next one.
I make this show for leaders, those who don't point fingers, but point towards ways they can do better at work. My ask for listening is you share the show on social and or with other leaders, established or aspiring. Until then, no talent, no culture, no excuses.